Nothing in Austria has changed. Singing and music will show this to the world.
That voice sounds so familiar. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 classic Disney characters you didn't know shared a voice.
Melody first, my dear, and then the lyrics,
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're taking a look at actors that voiced more than one Disney character prior to the 1990s.
Abigail, we were born with flat feet.
Number 10. Christopher Robin and Mowgli, voiced by Bruce Reitherman. Born in 1955, Bruce Reitherman made his voice acting debut as Christopher Robin in the 1966 short Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree.
Pooh Bear, there's only one thing we can do. Wait for you to get thin again.
The following year, he provided the voice of Mowgli in The Jungle Book.
Well, I don't care, as long as I'm with you.
Christopher Robin and Mowgli have a great deal in common, as they're both playful young boys that befriend lovable bears. So it only makes sense that Reitherman would bring both characters to life. It also probably isn't a coincidence that his father, animator Wolfgang Reitherman, directed these two productions. As Bruce grew up, he pretty much walked away from acting. However, he's remained close to the movie industry, working as a writer, producer, director, and cameraman. That's more than the bare necessities.
Bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Number 9. Mickey Mouse, Chip, Jack, Gus, etc., voiced by James MacDonald. Aside from being the first person to head up Disney's sound effects department, James MacDonald was also the original voice of Chip, and would lend his voice to numerous other Disney productions. Highlights include playing the hyena in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, the wolf in The Sword and the Stone, and the Dormouse in Alice in Wonderland.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at.
In Cinderella, MacDonald had the distinction of voicing 3 characters: Jack, Gus, and Bruno the dog. When Walt Disney was no longer able to voice Mickey Mouse himself, MacDonald took over the iconic role, and would voice Mickey for almost 3 decades. This, more than any other role, solidified his place as a Disney legend.
All right. Come on, let's go.
Number 8. Duchess and Miss Bianca, voiced by Eva Gabor. Bringing a socialite charm to her characters that made them practically jump off the screen, Eva Gabor possessed one of the classiest voices you'll ever hear.
Yesterday we blew up 12. I was wearing a bikini, but it's too cold today.
This made her the perfect fit for 2 of Disney's most sophisticated characters. In The Aristocats, she provided the voice of Duchess, an upscale feline with 3 adorable kittens.
Aristocrats do not practice biting and clawing and things like that. It's just horrible.
Although Duchess is a pampered house pet, Gabor injected the character with spunk, energy, and liveliness. She would do the same as Miss Bianca in The Rescuers, playing an elegant yet adventurous mouse.
Come on. Remember our pledge? Through storm and rain and dark of night.
Never fail to do what's right.
Over a decade later, Gabor voiced Miss Bianca once again in The Rescuers Down Under, marking her final film role.
Oh, Bernard, you are magnificent. You are absolutely the hero of the day.
Number 7. Lady, Merryweather, Kanga, etc., voiced by Barbara Luddy. Although Barbara Luddy got her start in silent movies, she was born to do voiceover work. Her warm, caring voice was the ideal match for the titular Cocker Spaniel in Lady and the Tramp.
You have a collar.
And a license.
Luddy also voiced one of Pongo and Perdita's many puppies in 101 Dalmatians.
Go get him, Thunder.
And brought a loving sentiment to the voice of Kanga in The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Pooh, Roo has a little surprise for you.
The same can be said about her work in Robin Hood, where she voiced Mother Rabbit and Mother Sexton.
We've saved this. It's not much, but please take it for the poor.
While she was best known for portraying soft-spoken characters, Luddy could also be quite plucky and high-spirited, as demonstrated through her performance as Merryweather in Sleeping Beauty.
I'd like to turn her into a fat old hop toad.
Number 6. Alice and Wendy Darling, voiced by Kathryn Beaumont. The titular character of Alice in Wonderland and Wendy Darling from Peter Pan are a lot alike in many respects. Both are ordinary young girls that are suddenly thrust into extraordinary worlds.
Just imagine real live mermaids.
Although they never know what's waiting around the corner, Alice and Wendy always maintain a down-to-earth outlook.
Better look first, but if one drinks much from a bottle marked poison, it's almost certain to disagree with one sooner or later.
What's more, they both just so happen to share Kathryn Beaumont's voice. This English actress brought a prim, proper demeanor to these strong-willed ladies, making them incredibly likable and relatable. Beaumont reprised these roles several times over the years, but as of 2005, she's officially passed on the torch to Princess Bubblegum herself, Hynden Walsh.
Oh, don't worry, Finn. The Mallow tea ceremony takes years to master.
Number 5, Maleficent and Lady Tremaine, voiced by Eleanor Audley.
Someone has parked a most disreputable-looking vehicle outside my window.
While one has dark magic on her side, and the other has no supernatural powers whatsoever, Sleeping Beauty's Maleficent and Cinderella's Lady Tremaine have more in common than just ruthlessly making life miserable for young heroines.
She shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die.
Eleanor Audley couldn't have been more chillingly effective as these two dastardly characters. As the evil stepmother, Audley played the role with haunting subtlety.
Good night.
As the mistress of all evil, she flawlessly shifted from being quiet and calm to loud and bombastic.
You poor simple fools, thinking you could defeat me.
Audley's unique voice could send a shiver up anyone's spine, which was proven when she was chosen to voice Madame Leota in the Haunted Mansion Park ride.
And ghoulies from last Halloween, awaken the spirits with your tambourine.
Number 4, White Rabbit, Dodo, Mr. Smee, King Hubert, Jock, Scrooge McDuck, etc., voiced by Bill Thompson. This enormously talented performer has one of the most extensive voice acting resumes on our countdown. Thompson took part in numerous Disney shorts, voicing Professor Owl and Scrooge McDuck, and was also a frequent player in Disney's animated features, playing both the White Rabbit and Dodo in Alice in Wonderland.
Steady, old chap. Can't be as bad as all that, you know.
Oh, my poor roof and rafters, oh, my walls, and there it is!
He would also leave his mark as Mr. Smee in Peter Pan, King Hubert in Sleeping Beauty, and at least 5 characters in Lady and the Tramp.
'Tis time you knew the truth, lassie.
Thompson's performance as Uncle Waldo from the Aristocats was his final film role before his death in 1971.
Abigail! Amelia! My 2 favorite nooses.
He left behind a rich legacy, which earned him a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for radio and voiceover work. Number 3, Baloo, Thomas O'Malley, and Little John, voiced by Phil Harris. The best word to describe Phil Harris's voice is laid back. A comedian and jazz musician, Harris's deep voice made audiences want to kick back and relax, and made him a natural choice to voice Baloo in The Jungle Book.
Now give me a big bear growl. Scare me. Oh, boy.
Harris hit just the right note as this sloth bear, being carefree while also being protective of young Mowgli. Harris played a similar father figure in The Aristocats, making Thomas O'Malley sound like the coolest cat around.
And I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
Harris went on to voice another bear as Little John in Robin Hood.
You took the words right out of my mouth, PJ.
Granted, we're not sure why a Nottingham native would have an American accent, but then again, animals can't talk. Semantics aside, Harris's voice was a proven welcomed addition to any Disney production. Number 2, the fairy godmother, Flora, Queen of Hearts, etc., voiced by Verna Felton.
If you'd lost all your faith, I couldn't be here. And here I am.
This actress landed her first Disney gig in 1941, when she voiced Mrs. Jumbo and the elephant matriarch in Dumbo.
Ladies, it's no laughing matter at all.
Ironically, Felton's final role would be another cartoon pachyderm, Winifred the elephant in The Jungle Book.
Now you help find him, or I'm taking over command.
In between, Felton voiced some of the House of Mouse's most magical characters, from the fairy godmother in Cinderella to Flora the Good Fairy in Sleeping Beauty.
Little princess, my gift shall be the gift of beauty.
Although her voice could be very motherly and nurturing, Felton could also be intimidating and antagonistic, downright villainous as the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland, or wonderfully stuck up as with the cat-loving Aunt Sarah in Lady and the Tramp.
Merciful heavens! My darlings, my precious pets!
This actress's range truly knew no bounds.
Your way, always, here are my ways!
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
And Your mother's doing fine, love. Oh, you ducky thing, you.
Sounds like someone sick. How lovely.
Sergeant. Sergeant Tibbs. I say, Sergeant! Who wants to dick long dick stuff like that?
Everybody, everywhere, will say Clint Eastwood is the biggest yellow belly in the West.
Hush your mouth. It's a motorcycle.
Well, greetings from your friendly neighborhood tax collector.
Number 1, Winnie the Pooh, Cheshire Cat, Caw the Snake, Flower, etc. Voiced by Sterling Holloway.
If you'd really like to know, he went that way.
If you've been obsessed with Disney since childhood, you've definitely heard this man's distinctive tenor voice pop up on multiple occasions. Back when the studio was primarily doing anthology films, he served as the narrator in The Three Caballeros and Make Mine Music. Sterling Holloway kicked off his voice acting career as Mr. Stork in Dumbo.
Which one of you ladies is expecting?
And as Flower in Bambi. And would voice many other classic Disney characters, including the Cheshire Cat, Caw the Snake, and Rockford the Mouse.
It so happens that I have a cracker with me.
Of course, Holloway would forever be associated with Winnie the Pooh, giving the bear a very little brain the most gentle and pleasant voice imaginable.
But you don't get honey with a balloon.
I do.
How?
I shall fly like a bee. Up to the honey tree, see?
Above all else, Holloway stands out as the first person to achieve Disney legend status for voiceover work.
Well, you can't win them all.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.